Have you ever woken up one morning, stared into the mirror, and quietly asked yourself, is this really the life I once dreamed of? Perhaps you're in your 30s, maybe 35, maybe even 40. It's an age often labeled as the stable and secure period of adulthood. But be honest with yourself. Have you ever felt that despite your external life looking perfectly put together, deep down, something significant is missing, something hard to put into words? Perhaps it's a quiet emptiness, a subtle sense of dissatisfaction, or a lingering question, is this really all life has to offer? Your 30s and 40s aren't just numbers. They represent a unique chapter in your life, a chapter where you've earned the stability of maturity, yet begin feeling the subtle but undeniable marks of passing time. On the surface, your life might appear stable and successful. Career, family, relationships all neatly arranged. Yet in the midst of this stability, big, quiet questions begin to surface. What do I truly want? Am I living my own life? Or am I simply fulfilling someone else's expectations? If you're confronting these questions right now, it might be a clear sign that you're ready to embark on a journey known as a life reset. But hold on, let's make something clear. A reset in your 30s or 40s isn't like the drastic leaps of your 20s, when you might have gladly walked away from everything for adventure and novelty. This is deeper, more reflective, and profoundly meaningful. It's about courageously pausing, carefully examining the foundations you've built, reconnecting with your true inner self, and thoughtfully recalibrating your life direction. It's about aligning with who you genuinely are today, not who you once imagined you would become. Maybe the career you've chased so passionately no longer brings fulfillment. Perhaps your relationships are growing distant or cool, or you feel strangely isolated despite everything appearing flawless from the outside. You might even find yourself puzzled by how success, something everyone else seems to admire, leaves you feeling empty inside. If you've ever wondered why all these seemingly wonderful achievements still fail to fill that internal void, know this: you are not alone. This is precisely the moment when your inner child, that deeply emotional, authentic part of yourself, needs to sit down with your adult self. These two aspects of your being must engage in an honest, heartfelt conversation. Together, you must rediscover your forgotten desires and fundamental values, things you may have left behind in your quest to fulfill societal expectations. If you've stayed with me to this point, chances are you already hear a subtle yet powerful voice within you, a voice urging you to pause, reflect, and reconnect more honestly and courageously with yourself than ever before. In this video, I won't simply encourage you to change your job, move houses, or adopt new habits superficially. Instead, we'll explore the deeper psychology, the profound significance of resetting your life at this crucial age. You'll discover subtle signs you may have overlooked, inner challenges you'll inevitably face when making meaningful changes, and most importantly, how to create a sustainable, meaningful reset that delivers genuine happiness and inner peace. Imagine waking up each morning with absolute clarity about your purpose, no longer weighed down by external expectations or internal fears. You move confidently forward, knowing you've courageously chosen the path that truly resonates with your deepest self. You've reset your life authentically, choosing consciously to live a life that you genuinely want, a life you've freely chosen. If something inside you yearns for a change, even the smallest whisper, then join me on this deep and authentic journey. I promise to accompany you every step of the way, through every moment of self-reflection, through every challenge you'll encounter. So, are you ready? Take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's embark on this transformative journey together. Let's reset your life, reconnect with your truest self, and transform your existence from mere survival into a beautiful symphony filled with purpose, joy, and genuine fulfillment. Entering your 30s or 40s can feel like reaching the top of a hill. You pause for a moment, looking back at the paths you've traveled, reflecting on the footprints you've left behind in your career, your relationships, and all the societal expectations you've fulfilled. Yet at the same time, as you turn your gaze forward, a powerful question begins to surface, quietly but persistently. What's next for me? Your 20s were for dreaming, chasing big goals, sometimes unsure whether they were truly yours or merely borrowed from others' expectations. But now you're 30, 35, or perhaps 40, and you've ticked most of the boxes society has laid out. You've established a stable career. Maybe you're married. Perhaps you have children, or own your own home. Strangely, these achievements, once so central to your dreams, often leave you feeling strangely empty and disconnected when finally attained. You find yourself wondering, is this really all there is? This moment marks the beginning of what we call a life reassessment. At this age, you become acutely aware of the limited nature of time and energy. Your biological clock is ticking louder than ever before, reminding you that life doesn't offer endless opportunities or unlimited resources. You now realize more clearly than ever that your energy, health, and emotional bandwidth have limits. Facing these limitations makes you reconsider how you're spending your precious time and whether it's truly aligned with your deeper values. At this stage, your self-awareness is also significantly more mature. You now understand with greater clarity what genuinely matters and what no longer resonates with your heart. The dreams that excited you at 20 might have lost their shine. Maybe you once believed that career success would bring absolute happiness, but now, standing at the pinnacle of your professional achievements, you feel surprisingly hollow. Perhaps you thought a stable relationship and a perfect family would complete you, but now find yourself burdened by unspoken words, cooled emotions, and invisible walls you can't seem to climb over. This is also the moment when you begin reflecting on the choices you've made in the past. You might feel regret for paths you didn't dare to follow. Perhaps you had dreams of doing something radically different, opening a cozy coffee shop, writing a novel, or traveling the world, but you backed away because these ideas seemed too risky or unrealistic according to society. Now, as you stand atop this metaphorical hill in your 30s or 40s, you clearly see that something precious has slipped through your fingers, and you long to reconnect with that forgotten dream. You may also feel tremendous pressure, not just from society, but from yourself to remain stable, to achieve a certain kind of perfection in your life. But sometimes that stability turns into an invisible cage, making you feel suffocated, restricted, and devoid of genuine freedom. You yearn for change, for a life reset, but you fear being judged or losing the familiar security you've worked so hard to build. Let me share some familiar yet powerful stories that may deeply resonate with you. Imagine a 38-year-old man, successful in banking, whose mornings start with the heavy realization that despite his professional accomplishments, he feels drained and unfulfilled. Deep down, he dreams of becoming a chef, preparing meals and sharing joy through his culinary creations. He knows it's time for his life to restart. Consider a 35-year-old woman who appears to live the perfect life: a beautiful home, a successful partner, wonderful kids. Yet at night she lies awake, puzzled by the strange emptiness she feels. She's come to realize that true happiness isn't found in picture-perfect social media moments, but in genuine emotional connection and authenticity. She wants to live truthfully and reset her life honestly, even if that means facing some challenging moments first. Or picture a woman who has just turned 40, realizing she's living a life that doesn't feel like her own. Long ago, she dreamed of becoming an artist, but chose a safe office job due to societal expectations. Now she feels an overwhelming desire to pick up her paintbrush again, giving herself permission to reconnect with her true passion. If any of these stories touch your heart, perhaps you're beginning to hear an inner call, urging you to look deeper into your soul, courageously and honestly facing yourself. Let me reassure you, your 30s and 40s are not too late for change. On the contrary, this is a perfect moment to consciously and meaningfully reset your life. In the next section, I'll walk alongside you deeper into the practical steps of this profound journey, one that reconnects you with your core self, restores true meaning to your life, and guides you toward living authentically once again. Are you ready to continue on this deeply meaningful path? Come along with me, the best chapters of your life are still waiting to be written. At this point, you might be wondering, how do I really know if my life is calling for a reset? How can I tell whether I'm just having a bad day, or if it's truly time to pause, reflect deeply, and chart a new course? One of the clearest and perhaps most confusing signs is a lingering feeling of being lost or directionless. Even when everything seems fine, you wake up, go to work, socialize with friends, and from the outside, your life looks nearly perfect. Yet deep within, there's an unsettling emptiness, as if you're living someone else's life. You find yourself questioning, what's the point of all this? Where's the meaning? Maybe you've noticed a prolonged sense of boredom and monotony, as though your days blend into each other with a dull, repetitive rhythm. Activities and passions that once sparked joy and excitement now feel bland and uninspired. The things that used to motivate you to jump out of bed in the morning have lost their color, leaving you frequently thinking, why does life feel so unfulfilling? Recently, you might find yourself dwelling more and more on what-ifs, wondering about roads not taken. What if you'd chosen a different career? What if you had moved to another city? What if you had been brave enough to chase that dream? These questions aren't just minor regrets. They're clear signals from within, indicating your inner self is craving a fresh start, or at the very least, a realignment of your life's path to reflect who you truly are now. Sometimes the clearest sign is a deep sense of suffocation. You feel trapped by your current circumstances, your job, your family dynamics, or relationships that once felt precious but now leave you drained. You crave more room to breathe, more freedom to stretch and explore who you genuinely are. It's as if you're living in a room with a ceiling steadily pressing downward, and you desperately need space to truly feel alive again. Your body and mind begin sending unmistakable signals. Chronic fatigue, restless sleep, persistent stress, all indicators that your mental and physical health are suffering. You might find yourself easily irritated, constantly anxious about minor issues, or experiencing unexplained exhaustion. This is your body's way of gently yet urgently whispering, pause for a moment, something essential in your life isn't right. Even in your most stable relationships, you may sense a widening emotional gap. Connections that once felt deep and meaningful now seem distant or superficial. You might feel isolated in a crowded room or detached from people who once were incredibly close. It leaves you wondering if these relationships have fundamentally changed, or if perhaps it's you who has changed from within. Another major sign, the loss of passion. The career that once excited you or the hobby that used to make hours feel like minutes now leave you indifferent. Each task feels more like an obligation rather than a source of inspiration. Losing your passion can make you feel like a ship adrift directionless and aimlessly floating through life's waters. If you recognize yourself in any of these signs, this is precisely the moment to stop and gently ask yourself, am I truly okay? What is my body and heart trying to tell me? Imagine each of these signs as inner messages calling you to pause and deeply listen. They're not signals meant to frighten you, but rather gentle reminders that your life deserves to feel more meaningful, more authentic, and more aligned with who you truly are. Facing these truths might feel daunting, but it's also the first and most crucial step toward genuinely resetting your life. You can begin this transformative journey today, not by instantly changing everything, but simply by having the courage to acknowledge your deepest needs. Pause. Listen closely to your inner voice, and know that every moment spent living more authentically and adjusting your path to align with your true self will bring you closer to the life you genuinely deserve, a life rich in meaning, joy, and freedom. Are you ready to keep exploring this profound journey? If your answer is yes, then let's continue together, because the most incredible chapter of your life is just beginning. At this moment, you might feel like you're standing at a unique crossroads, a doorway filled with both exciting possibilities and profound challenges. Yes, choosing to reset your life in your 30s or 40s is rarely an easy decision. It's not a spontaneous adventure of youth. It's a thoughtful journey requiring immense courage, honesty, and a deep understanding of who you truly are. One of the greatest challenges you'll face at this point is the fear of uncertainty. You've become accustomed to a life of stability, following clearly marked paths, relying on the familiar sense of security they bring. When you contemplate stepping outside your comfort zone, anxiety surfaces immediately. Will one be okay? Will I lose everything I've worked so hard to build? Am I too old to risk failure now? These questions are natural and heavy, especially now that you're at an age when starting over isn't quite as effortless as it once might have been. Financial pressures represent another very real concern. You might have significant responsibilities: your family, children, or aging parents. Resetting your life could mean temporarily changing jobs, dealing with lower income, or at least experiencing uncertainty at first. This reality isn't simple when you are the primary source of support, not just for yourself, but also for those you love. Moreover, the people around you, family, friends, colleagues, might not immediately support your desire for change. Even though they care deeply about you, their concerns or differing perspectives might cause them to question or even oppose your idea of starting fresh. This could leave you feeling isolated, insecure, and sometimes doubting whether your decision is truly the right one. Yet hidden within these challenges lie extraordinary opportunities. By this age, you've accumulated valuable life experience. You know clearly what you excel at, what truly matters, and importantly, what no longer fits your life. Now is the perfect time to leverage this self-awareness to deliberately and strategically realign your life. You've likely built a foundation: financial resources, valuable relationships, and professional experience that gives you the strength and security needed to bravely explore new avenues. Unlike your younger years, you're now capable of making decisions thoughtfully and deliberately, based not on impulse, but grounded in practical wisdom and deep self-understanding. Most importantly, this is your opportunity to consciously shape the second half of your life. Imagine, instead of merely drifting with the current, you're now actively steering your own life's journey, heading exactly where your heart and soul truly desire. You can choose a path filled with genuine joy, meaningful connections, and authentic fulfillment. Remember, no matter how significant the challenges seem, you have the capacity to overcome them. Each time you face adversity, you become stronger, wiser, and more confident. This journey isn't just about changing your life, it's about rediscovering the inner strength and courage you might have forgotten existed within you. So, are you ready to courageously face these challenges and embrace the incredible opportunities this pivotal moment offers? If your answer is yes, let's step forward together into the next part of your journey, because the deepest joys, most profound meaning, and greatest fulfillment still await you as soon as you're brave enough to step outside your comfort zone and truly live the life you've always dreamed of. The journey of resetting your life isn't merely about changing external details, it's a profound adventure, bringing you back to your most authentic self, allowing you to reconnect with clarity, meaning, and true inner peace. To embark on this path, join me as we explore each of these deeply meaningful steps together. The first and perhaps most crucial step is facing and accepting your reality. Pause for a moment, look carefully at your life. Without hiding or avoiding uncomfortable truths, ask yourself honestly, how am I truly feeling right now? Am I genuinely satisfied, or just pretending to be okay? What do I deeply desire, and what emotions am I experiencing? Don't be afraid to face the answers that emerge. Being truthful with yourself is the essential foundation for a meaningful restart. This isn't the moment to pretend everything's fine. This is the moment for courage, authenticity, and deep honesty. Next, take time to reconnect with your core values and sense of purpose. In your 20s, you might have chased what society or family expected from you. Now you understand that true fulfillment only arises when you align your life with your internal values. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me at this stage of my life? What is my life's purpose right now? Don't rush your answers, pause and listen deeply within yourself, and you'll discover the most authentic responses. An essential part of this journey is redefining success. For years, you may have measured success by external standards, career titles, impressive salaries, or widespread recognition. Yet now, perhaps you've realized that true success must reflect your personal values and desires. Maybe success today means having more quality time with family, achieving inner peace, or contributing meaningfully to your community. Boldly write your new definition and let it become your guiding star for the future. Once you clearly understand your values and purpose, the next step is creating a flexible, manageable plan and starting small. You don't need to overhaul your entire life at once. Identify one or two areas that feel most critical, perhaps your career, health, relationships, or personal growth. Begin with small, practical steps. For example, dedicate 15 minutes daily to journaling, meditating, or reading books about the new direction you're considering. Consistent, small steps build the powerful momentum needed for transformative change. Remember, you don't have to walk this path alone. Seek support from trusted family members, friends, a mentor, or even a professional coach. Join communities or groups of individuals who share similar goals and aspirations. Having companions on this journey provides motivation, encouragement, and reassurance, making you feel less isolated and more empowered. An often overlooked but crucial step is holistic self-care. Physical and mental well-being form the foundation for any lasting change. Prioritize getting enough sleep, eating nutritious foods, regular exercise and activities promoting inner peace such as mindfulness, yoga, or pursuing beloved hobbies. When your body and mind are healthy, you'll possess the resilience and energy needed to face challenges and embrace your journey fully. Another chose to work fewer overtime hours, dedicating more quality time to family, discovering that true happiness lies in life's simplest moments. Yet another individual started a daily meditation practice, uncovering a profound sense of inner peace and balance. You see, a life reset doesn't have to feel overwhelmingly drastic or frightening. It's simply a series of small, meaningful, and powerful steps guiding you toward the life you truly desire and deserve. Believe in yourself and continue forward with me into the next part of this remarkable journey. Because the life you dream of is waiting, ready for you to courageously step forward with an open heart and unshakable faith in yourself. From your 30s and 40s onward, a life reset is no longer just a one-time decision or a destination to reach. It becomes a way of living, a conscious mindset, a daily choice to engage with life intentionally, honestly, and proactively. Resetting your life isn't about checking off a box and coasting through the rest of your days. On the contrary, it opens up a continuous journey, one where you consistently reflect, adapt, and grow from within. To live consciously means to listen deeply to yourself, to recognize when you're drifting from your core values, when it's time to pause, and when it's time to take action. It's not about controlling everything with rigidity. Instead, it's about maintaining a gentle awareness, understanding how you're living, why you've chosen your current path, and whether it truly brings you a sense of meaning and fulfillment. When you adopt this mindset, every day becomes an opportunity to learn and recalibrate. You no longer seek perfection. You become more willing to accept that some days you'll get it wrong, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you failed. It simply means you're alive, evolving. You start to observe yourself with curiosity instead of judgment, with compassion rather than criticism, and with a commitment to continual personal growth. Even more importantly, you begin to deeply appreciate what you already have. You stop chasing someone else's version of success and begin to cherish the simple things: a warm meal with family, a quiet afternoon lost in a book, a sincere conversation with someone who truly sees you. Gratitude becomes the foundation of your choices, and peace begins to flow from within. At the same time, you remain open to the new ideas, new people, and even new versions of yourself, because you understand that life is constantly unfolding, and so are you. Each new chapter, each season of change, brings the possibility of renewal, a chance to refresh your spirit, expand your perspective, and evolve with greater depth and authenticity. This stage of life from your 30s onward is not the end of youth. It's the beginning of a more grounded, more intentional foundation for the decades ahead. A foundation no longer built on illusion, competition, or outside approval, but on a deep understanding of who you truly are, your values, your dreams, your limits, your beliefs, and even your wounds. When you live this way with awareness, gratitude, and an open heart, you're not just resetting your life once. You're learning how to continually reset, gently and meaningfully, over and over again. And that, more than any milestone, is what creates a life that's not just worth living, but one that is truly worthy of every heartbeat and every sacred moment you're here to experience. A deep and empowering conclusion. Your 30s and 40s aren't the end of passion or the beginning of decline. Quite the opposite, they are a golden window to reevaluate and consciously reset your life in the most meaningful way. This is the stage where you're mature enough to truly understand yourself, experienced enough to make wiser decisions, and brave enough to stop living a life that no longer feels like your own. The life reset you're contemplating doesn't have to be some massive overhaul. It starts with awareness, with that quiet moment where you pause and truly listen to the voice within. It begins with courage, the kind of strength that lets you look honestly at your life, acknowledge what's no longer working, and accept that you deserve to live a version of life that feels real and full. The power to shape your life doesn't come from youth. It comes from awareness and the bravery to face yourself, no matter your age. Your 30s and 40s aren't a barrier, they're a springboard. You have experience. You have wisdom. And more importantly, you now have the ability to choose with intention, clarity, and meaning. A successful reset at this age doesn't just shape the next few years, it can define who you'll become for the rest of your life. It's more than just a fresh start. It's a reawakening of the version of you that may have gotten lost along the way, buried beneath responsibilities, routines, and outside expectations. If you're feeling that inner whisper, don't ignore it. Give yourself the space to ask, what do I honestly want to change about my life right now? It might be something small, a shift in your daily routine, a relationship that needs nurturing, an old dream that wants to breathe again. What matters most isn't how big the change is, it's that you're willing to pause, reflect, and begin. Let me leave you with one final message from the heart and full of hope. The journey of resetting your life isn't always easy, but it is absolutely worth it. Give yourself permission to step beyond the familiar, to rediscover who you are, to stumble, learn, and truly live. Give yourself permission to become the person you've always longed to be, not someday, but starting today. Because it's never too late to rewrite your story. And there's no better time to begin than this moment, right now.